You're a disgrace.
You had to know.
You are a disgrace.
You had to know I was going to wear it. Huh? Looks good. This is, I mean, come on. This is.
I don't like that they've put the Oakland on the front. I liked the...
Well, this was just a
City
jersey. It was just like a one-time thing.
Yeah, but it was obviously a recreation of the We Believe Warriors jersey.
Which they also brought back.
I like the OG.
Yeah. I like this one a lot. But you know what? I sort of want to get myself... I really like this season, and I hope they wear it a couple times in the finals. Their Philly jersey. You know, their blue one?
Philadelphia Warriors one.
New York Celtics, because you guys were all around, I think, for the
Warriors.
For the commencement of the NBA. So the blue one, basically. And because they were the Philadelphia Warriors. The Philadelphia Warriors moved to San Francisco.
You're talking...
Yeah.
That one.
I sort of want to get it just because it's Philly. Like, they're representing us, right? This is Philly against Boston in the finals.
You will take whatever you can get. When
he's sticking you and taking all your money.
Welcome to the Bronx Cheer Basketball Show.
I haven't fucked with you in a while.
I'm your host, Nathan Callanan, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jack Lynch. Jack, it pains me to ask, how are you, mate?
Fucking fantastic. When was the last time I was this happy?
So we had a week off because you said you were a bit unwell. I was sick.
I think everyone's a bit crook at the moment.
Yeah. So in Australia right now, we're transitioning into basically winter. Yeah. And I just got hit with... It was literally the one day, it was last recording day last week that I just was at my worst, and so I just couldn't do it.
You knew Boston was going into the finals.
Yeah, and there's also a bit of that. I thought I was waiting for that message response from you to be like,
just because we won,
just because Boston won and all that stuff. But anyway, you must be great.
I'm pretty fucking good.
We sit here and we have the final two teams of this NBA season: the Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. The Boston Celtics returned to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2010.
Yep. Where
they, so tragically for you guys, lost. Was that the second time in a row they lost? Was it 2009 and 10?
Nah, because 09. We would have won the championship 09 if KG didn't go down with his knee injury. Because we won 08. 09 lost in the second round to Orlando.
Oh, okay. I thought it was... So it was like alternating years that you played the Lakers.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we got back there the year after and lost in 7.
In 2011?
2010.
Oh, 2010.
Yeah.
2010, yeah.
So 2009 was the year we came back. I think we started the year like 22-0 or something like that. Yeah. After winning the championship. KG goes down and that cooked it. And then the next year we're back healthy and losing 7 to the Lakers. And we were up at 3/4 time in game 7.
I hate all these teams. I hate them all. I hate them all. Okay, where do we want to start? Okay, so the Celtics beat the Heat. For everyone that's just tuning in and was living under a rock, the Celtics beat the Heat in 7.
Mm-hmm.
How do I want to start this? First off, I just got a whole bunch of stuff I want to say. I've realized that the Heat are the Lakers of the East. I don't know why I didn't realize that earlier.
In terms of
warm weather, beach, and people go there. A la Jimmy Tucker after winning the championship, leaving the Bucks. Tucker, Lowry, everyone.
It's a good free agent destination.
Yes, right? I wondered why I always hate Miami, and I couldn't put it into words, but I realized it's because they're the Lakers of the East. The boss, I didn't know who I want. I was watching Game 6, and I was just like, I don't want any baskets. I'm like, I don't want the Heat to make a basket.
Well, honestly, it was pretty close to both teams forfeiting given the injuries.
So that's how I watched the series. I predicted that the Celtics would win it in 5 or 6. And I also predicted that the Mavs would beat the Warriors quite easily. And I still think Boston's going to win the championship. I think they're the best team left. They were the best team left of the 4. But the way things went, I'm just hoping that there's a little bit of hope that the Warriors...
I find it odd that
can beat the Celtics.
Going into the playoffs, no one really rated the Warriors. And I don't think they've played that well
No.
to be in the finals.
They haven't been like overwhelming.
They haven't dominated anyone.
No.
Who they have in the first round?
The Nuggets.
The Nuggets. They beat a one-man team.
Grizzlies were young.
Grizzlies were young. Then Mavs.
Then the Mavs
they've
weren't-
done their job. They've beaten everyone in front of them, so I can't discredit it. But
That's right.
The fact that
I should be trashing you for that.
But the fact that everyone's now like, oh, this is Warriors series to lose, when before the playoffs it was Boston's arguably one of the best chances here. It's funny how the narrative's flipped.
I think it's just so simple. I think it's because Boston's, apart from getting there a few times to the conference finals,
Don't have the playoff
at
experience.
least the betting odd companies and all that. It just, I think the feel amongst the general public is probably that, oh, it's the Warriors again. They're back. You know, they're here again to do it. Whereas we haven't really seen the Celtics in the finals. That's probably it. But I just feel
I think
like,
they're healthy as well, which is
yeah.
the biggest difference at the moment. So
Okay.
it's going to be interesting. I think game 1 and game 2 will be very telling.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if, when Boston played Miami in game 1, a lot of people said Miami will win this one. They're at home. Boston's just come off a 7-game series. They're, you know, what did Miami beat you in? 6 in the end.
Yeah.
So they had an extra 4 days off. That was almost a scheduled loss. Boston going to Miami for game 1, and
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if this one is as well. Boston going to Oakland for game 1.
Yeah.
So
Let's just talk. Maybe we'll touch on the Warriors and Mavs series, but let me just say, I want to say something. So I've got a few things to say. Right now, Jimmy Butler is a better player than Jason Tatum. Respond.
yeah,
He is. Right? And it's really, look, at the end of the day, you'd rather someone go hard in the playoffs than the regular season. But after the bubble, I'm pretty sure in our preseason top 10 players in the NBA, I put Jimmy in the top 5 because I'm like, how can we not? How can we not after that, after the bubble? And then since then, we didn't get it. Last playoffs, they got swept in the first round. You know, Miami weren't all that flash until basically this season. And then this season, not a lot of people believed in them. And then I still didn't believe in them, even when they beat us. And then they played yous mid-series against you guys. I still didn't believe in them. And I was even a bit like cautious with my rating of Jimmy. But you know what? When he tries, and at the end of the day,
this is the thing. It's when he tries.
That's right. But the thing is, you can say, oh, when this player tries. Well, I don't know if, for example, DeMar DeRozan has another level to get to.
No,
But I don't think he does, right? Jimmy but DeMar DeRozan's all the time is better than Jimmy Butler's all the time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, over an 82-game series season, then yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone knows that Jimmy's coasting. He protects his health more than anything.
And he's done it twice now.
But the other thing is, and like I disagreed with you, I think Jimmy's a better player than Tatum. But Jimmy also put up 9 points per game between games 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
If any other superstar in the league did that, they would be crucified.
This is why he's not.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, is he better than Tatum? Tatum, I don't think, scored below 20 in any of these games.
Yeah.
He didn't have any 40-point games. But do you prefer consistency in this situation compared to a guy that genuinely can go missing for multiple games at a time? And that's why, still, I don't know where I stand on Jimmy Butler.
I think because he's done it twice. I think now that he's done it twice, the bubble wasn't just a fluke.
Last playoffs, 2021, he averaged at 14 points per game.
Yeah, but
so that's the thing.
But he also didn't. I mean, I know they had players, but they weren't what they are now. They didn't have Tucker. They didn't have Lowry. I know it's weird, but
Lowry's fucking shit.
Yeah, because Lowry's
is he the worst player in the NBA to watch?
What? Hold on. Now you're going far. No, he's just cooked. He's gone.
No, not just that. To actually watch him play, it is the most frustrating experience. He spends more time. There's more Lowry on the floor than Wood on the floor.
No, Trae Young's the worst player to watch.
Genuinely, watching Kyle Lowry play basketball it's a disgrace to basketball, and I might cop heat for that. But people say Marcus Smart flops, and without a doubt, back in the day, he used to have those flops where it was just
they're
the most ridiculous.
They're very similar.
But now Marcus only exaggerates contact. He doesn't go searching for contact. Kyle Lowry could have potentially lost Game 7 for them because he tried to flop into Grant Williams and had to call a timeout.
That was hilarious.
Because all he does is search for contact and flail to the floor. So I just had to put it out there when he came out. Like, he is without a doubt, and like he's still good, but he's the fakest basketball player in the NBA.
Yeah.
I want to put that out there.
But regardless, it seemed like the Bucks were always rolling. Last season they were rolling. You know, it was, and the players that the Heat had, Jimmy only sort of at the same time, he's only going to turn up if they have a chance. It's weird that you need this sort of perfect container or circumstance for him to bring it out, but when he brings it out,
there are two Jimmys. One of them,
yeah,
he's not a top 30 player in the league.
Yeah, that's right.
The other one's top 5.
That's right.
Average it out, you got a top 15 player. I don't know how else to put it.
That's exactly right. And that you've made the exact correct point. That's why he's not top 5. That's why he's not below the top 30. But I just wanted to say that, like, loud and clear, and it is, I do intentionally mean a bit of a knock at Tatum, because as good as Tatum is, and you sort of like killed me so badly for being like, I've only just graduated Tatum completely out of the Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell tier.
Fuck, he's so much better than them.
But, like, this series could have gone. I know you got Brown. I know you guys are a unit. I know that. I'm so aware of that. But it wasn't easy. Whereas if Tatum went for 30 a game, then, and when I say 30 a game, I don't look at numbers. I mean 30, or 29 minimum, If he went for 30 a game, could have been a bit easier on you guys. And that's his next level.
I think, the next level comes because people comparing Brown and Tatum at the moment. And Brown had a fantastic series, a few sort of blunders that stood out. But their stats are pretty similar throughout. But Tatum, for the first time in his life, is facing double teams and defenses orchestrated on stopping him. Whereas Brown's playing as like a safety. It's like, all right, double's there. Now I've got the ball playing, 4-on-3. If Tatum can work out how to negotiate doubles, and he has this year in terms of being able to pass out of them, but if he can pass out of them, then relocate, find the mismatch, and then score, that's where his game will elevate, and that's what Jimmy does.
Yeah. The early criticisms, and sometimes this name gets brought up. It gets brought up a lot around Tatum. Early days, it was because of criticisms. Kobe Bryant, negatives.
Long twos, contested jump
negatives.
shots.
I almost actually feel like we've come full circle that Tatum's improved the passing. He's improved. He went to the 3. All this. He's a great defender. And now I'm like, actually, I feel like Tatum should be more selfish. Do everything he currently does, but also, obviously, he's got to get out. Double team is a double team. You got it, especially when you're, you're not. I mean, a double team is a double team, so you got to pass out of that. But most of the time, you see these guys, these top guys. Let's bring up like Kawhi Leonard, right? Similar sort of type of player, in a way. When the shit is on the line, or to make it an easier series, maybe you just have to take more shots, and then you got to make them. So if he's not going to make them, then we bring up the Kobe.
I think as well, when
again.
you mentioned Kawhi, LeBron obviously, Kobe obviously, I think they're in a different realm to say someone like Tatum or like Paul George. And part of it is knowing when it's, a fourth quarter game 7, is knowing the double's coming and attacking as that defender starts to come across.
Yeah.
So there's players like Jokic, for example. He wants the double to come because he's tall enough to pass over the top and
I was
find
going
the
to
man.
say a center.
Whereas as a small forward, it's if you wait for the double to come and pass out, that's great. You've done your job. You're now playing 4-on-3. But if you want to score, you've got to go when the double starts to come before they can return back to their man and find the angle. And I think that just comes with experience. And I reckon that'll probably be the next step as well.
Yeah. Well, Jason Tatum, anyway, is exceptional and is doing very well. What else is there? So what about the series? I don't know. I didn't really plan this out properly, but the Heat. Here's another thing. 2 weeks ago, I said the Suns' window has closed for the championship. For me, it's the exact same story for the Miami Heat. Their window has shut. Obviously, if the Suns get LeBron James or Kevin Durant, or if the Heat...
If they run it back, you're saying?
Yeah, right. With this core moving forward, nothing crazy positive happens. And I'm talking like, crazy positive, which you can say that about any team. Oklahoma can win the championship next year if the right people walk in. I'm just saying this core...
In the same situation...
Window's closed.
I would say it is like... It's closed but not locked. The only thing that would make it different is... If they played Lowry 40 games throughout the regular season, he was actually healthy. And the most important thing is someone needs to speak to Bam. When Bam wants to score and looks to score, he is an unbelievable offensive talent.
Yeah.
But he was doing like a 2019 Ben Simmons almost.
Yeah.
And it was like...
And I know we have Embiid, but in our series he was doing the same.
And against I know... Rob Williams is second team all defense, but he's such a good help defender. He's not the best one-on-one defender anyway. But as soon as Rob Williams came on the floor, Bam did nothing.
Yeah,
and it was like he knew he was going to get blocked every shot,
That's
so
right.
he didn't bother scoring.
He sort of does nothing.
And
offensively,
if he averaged 20 points per game, this could be a complete different series. So if this is the exact same team going next year, then I think the Heat are done. If Lowry can be healthy, if Jimmy does what he does again this year and load manages throughout the year, and if Bam comes back being I'm going to be a true second option,
he needs to be it.
Then there's a chance.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that's stopping them.
But there's not, because I always think about the other teams. Think about but the Nets will be there next season. The Bucks will be there next season. You'll be there next season.
You won't.
I'm not saying us. Because I'm not bringing up the P7. How do I do the initials with the weirdest initials? I'm not bringing up that team today, other than the fact that this team was originally that team. But yeah, Bam, too timid. I think the Heat's window is shut. Okay, let's just go over to the Warriors now. I don't know. I'm always so negative. I feel like the Mavs were playing so well and the Suns sort of underdone themselves. And then, Kleber and who else was it? Like, these guys weren't making shots in the Warriors series.
No one was making shots.
They're just not making shots.
Reggie Bullock as well. Went 0 for 10 in one game.
What can you do when you don't make shots?
Yeah.
You make them miss league.
I don't think, and this is going to sound very negative as well, but I don't think the Mavs are a true Western Conference final team yet.
No.
The Suns were the best team all year in the NBA, and what happened to them probably would happen maybe one time out of 100. The Mavs, not that they got lucky, because it was partly due to their defense and how good their offense was working with, surrounded by Luka, but they got to the Western Conference Finals and it was very clear they were underprepared.
Yep.
They didn't have someone that could step up, and that's what I said was the last part of the pod before. I said to be so successful in the playoffs, you need creators.
Yep.
And they've got Luka, and they've got Brunson.
Yep.
Dinwiddie to an extent, but more often than not, when he's creating, he's going to shoot for himself. He's not looking to facilitate. So when they got there, it was like the Warriors were, all right, well, here's what we do, and just executed. It wasn't like they played exceptional basketball to beat them. They just did what they had to do. What did impress me most about the Warriors, though, was the amount of defensive sets they ran at Luka.
Yeah.
There was a good post I saw on Twitter or whatever it was, but in the first 6 minutes of game one, I think they threw 6 different defenses at Luka.
Yeah.
None necessarily more effective than the others, and he scored on some, he assisted on some, but just to keep him guessing that whole time. And I think when there's any team like a very one-person centric team like the Rockets with Harden, or LeBron at the Cavs, or now the Lakers, or Luka here, as long as they get comfortable, they can just orchestrate whatever they want. If they spend 8 seconds working out what's happening, it gives the defensive team such an edge, and I think that's what the Warriors did well.
The Warriors are always offense and defense. It's all
shits me
rotating like crazy. I'm trying to pump myself up. I'm trying to be like, yep, they do this so great. They're going to do it to the Celtics. The Mavs, and I personally, everyone, we got caught up. They smashed the Suns, especially in that game 7. I got caught up with this just shooting star that the Mavs were. I love the stars. Luka was arguably the best player left of the 4 teams. I just got caught up, and Kleber and Bullock regressed back to the mean. The Warriors, anytime they wanted to get to the rim, there. And Luka, I'm not going to point too much to fitness, but you can argue. You look at like Steph's fitness at 34 or whatever, however old he is, and you look at Luka's fitness. Whenever someone drove in, and then there's no one behind them, there's no one waiting in the paint for the Warriors. Luka just does that thing where he just like puts his arm. And he's like, I'm going to try and just tap it back.
Just swipes at it.
Because I'm not going to basically move. I don't know. I don't want to criticize Luka too much, but it's no secret that it's hard to win a championship. And as good as he is now,
there's another level he has
to get to. Let's just put a generic name on it. To get to Finals MVP or to get to Finals Luka, you need to, fix some of these holes in the game, and they need to fix some holes in their roster.
I don't think he's necessarily a bad defender either. Any white guy gets labelled as a bad defender, but he's not a good team defender. 1-on-1, he can hold his own because he is strong.
Yeah.
But it's as soon as someone's like, if he's covering, and then there's a pass and he has to try and jump that gap. If someone gets a running start, which is where the NBA's, you know how it used to always be triple threat.
Yeah.
Catch the ball, you either jab, you can shoot, or you can or you can pass. Now it's you want to catch the ball on the move, and that's where his downfall is. If someone's already got speed ahead, he can't do anything about it. So obviously conditioning can do a lot of work, but like say you compare him to someone like Tatum just going across the East, I think they're quite similar in terms of their career trajectory so far. Obviously Luka's, I'm not trying to compare the two because Luka's definitely ahead before anyone grills me on that. But if Luka had Tatum's build, he'd be a much better defender like Tatum is now because he's more athletic, more agile, and can still play heavy offense-centric basketball, but then still has the energy on defense. However, if he did lose that weight and had Tatum's build, would he still be as good of an offensive player because he can't bully his way in the post anymore? So there's probably a healthier middle ground than where it is now. But people, they're saying, you need to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds. And that won't necessarily help.
Yeah. I think their scheme could be better for Luka, defensive scheme. Obviously, getting a bit more defined. It's just the look. It's like Jokic. Even now, he's not defined, but now everyone shuts up. It's just that he's got a bit of meat on him and stuff like that. Luka looks like, in any sport, but let's go basketball, of course, he looks like he's waiting to get back on offense. Every defensive play, he's like, oh, fuck. Fucking, and, Steph drives past him. Fuck. It's just like, all right, give me the ball. And he's like, the way he walks. See, whereas you need to, whether you're an offensive juggernaut or not, whether you're two sides of the ball or you are like him putting all your effort into offense, you need to sort of, once you backtrack past that halfway line, you need to respect that this means everything, this possession. Not dying on too many screens and not doing that, whatever that is, what is there a nickname for that? Just sort of throwing the hand to try and
hoping for the best.
tap the steal. It's like, this is important. It's not, hopefully the guys do it and I'm going to kill it on offense. That's what he looks like. He looks like he just can't wait to get back on offense.
I think this is also a management issue in terms of the last sort of finals MVPs that we've had, or elite players we've had that have pushed conference finals to the finals that have been shit at defense, have always been surrounded by incredible defenders. Like Steph Curry, for example, especially those first few finals runs, the Warriors still had the best defense in the NBA.
Yeah. And
they were able to, on offense, one player can dominate because they've got the ball. On defense, it's a 5-on-4, so like percentage-wise, it's not really, you can hide someone quite easily. No better example than the Isaiah Thomas Celtics when they made the Eastern Conference Finals with probably the worst defender in NBA history. He tried hard, but he was 5'9". I could score on him. You can do it, but look who's around Luka. Like, Jalen Brunson isn't going to do it. Spencer Dinwiddie's not going to do it. Maxi Kleber's a decent defender, but you need an elite shot blocker if Luka's going to be the one. Dorian Finney-Smith can defend, but not elite either. Reggie Bullock, same situation. They're all good, but no one that's a Draymond or someone that can just completely change your defense.
Yeah, there's some murmurs about Rudy Gobert.
That would be incredible.
Would it be incredible?
Yes.
Would it be incredible?
Yes.
Because
Depending who they have to give up.
that's because I think I'm not joking. I think my mind goes straight to the money because I think to myself, I don't know because he's a max. He's not super max.
I
is
think
he?
he could be Supermax.
Oh,
Which
he might be actually.
I've
yeah.
got the biggest gripe with Supermax.
I know it's so.
Fucker, it makes no sense.
So if
What if they had
Yeah.
what if they had Robert Williams III?
that's good, but it's not,
Someone like that,
Yeah.
and there are players like that available.
I think Rudy would cripple. I just couldn't
Yeah.
do it because I think Rudy would cripple, and I think that the Mavs need that sort of space. I don't know. It's tough.
The Mavs, there's no point committing big term money to anyone at the moment other than Luka.
Yeah,
Let's give it a few years and we'll work it out. He's still so young,
Robert Williams would be great.
which it's not going to happen because he's staying put. But someone like that
Yeah,
would be the old Nick Claxton.
Yeah. I
Any
think we mentioned this. Yeah,
Big, jumpy, athletic, defensive big man is all you need.
Yeah,
And especially like offensively, that pick and roll would be elite.
Mm.
That's how DeAndre Jordan made a All-NBA first team.
Yeah,
Just by having, Chris Paul there. So like there's room there for Mavs to grow.
did you make the first team, DeAndre?
Yeah, we're back when it had to be one center.
Lob City. It's still only bloody
yeah.
one center. Oh, you don't want to open up that can of worms.
DeAndre Jordan.
Don't be bringing up one center all in.
I actually like it, to be honest. And it's weird that I feel like it
I
comes
don't
up
like
every
that
now and then.
and I think everyone agrees, and you must agree. I don't like that it affects money.
Yes.
That's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
That's
All-Star-
got to be the worst thing
All-Star games, it shouldn't affect money.
ever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, 2016 All-NBA first team, DeAndre Jordan.
Wow. He was really good.
People, it's been like this the whole time. One player per position sort of thing. Well, 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. And now there's sort of push to change it.
Yeah.
And there was push to change it back in 2015 or 2016 when DeAndre Jordan was All-NBA first team because they're like, you're better off having 3 forwards. And now you're better off having 2 centers. But it's like, at the end of the day, this is the first team.
Yep.
And I liked a bit of traditionalism about it. Like, we can't just keep altering it as each sort of generation comes through because the game's changed.
Yeah.
Just keep it as is. People are going to be pissed off, but like, this has always happened.
What if one day, I'm not no guarantee it's going to happen, but what if one day 70% of the league looks like the 20 whatever Rockets? What happens then?
Run with it. Well, but like, obviously, I'm not saying keep it set in stone. If the league changes that much, it changes that much. But at the moment, there is still 5 positions.
Yeah.
And they're more fluid now than they used to be. But no one can argue that Jokic was the second best center this year. I mean, you can argue it because like... no one can argue that Embiid was the second best center all year because he came second in MVP voting. So, of course, he's second team. And this happened in the 90s.
But it
like,
just sucks.
Patrick Ewing was second in MVP and finished.
That like, so there's like the other positions. I know. I mean, your answer is just traditionalism.
Yeah.
But it just sucks that Embiid and Jokic have one position to fight for, whereas the other guys can be put in any positions of their guards or
They've got double the
forwards.
chance. Yeah. But there's also double as many players in that
Yeah.
position. So,
Yeah.
but like, no one thinks, oh, Hakeem was robbed of first team all NBA in 1995.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, people forget about it.
Let's get into it. All right. So to I don't know, like I didn't feel like we can talk about the Heat Celtics series, but I think it was
Let's
pretty
do it. Let's do it.
Well, we did that.
No, we'll talk about it more.
All
I'm
right.
happy to talk about it more.
Is there something you want to say? 'Cause
Coaching masterclass by Spoelstra, as we knew.
Okay.
We knew that going in. He's done it so many times. Through the Celtics multiple times. That's why there was big scoring droughts.
Mm-hmm.
Celtics defense, better than advertised, but on and off. And I think that was mainly due to Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. Well,
He can just turn what is the best defense in the NBA to absolute shit just at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
And that's why it was such a shit series in terms of blowouts. But like, how often does that happen? Like, these are two teams that are so evenly matched trying to do something else because there was... I reckon they could have fought every game like it was game 6 or game 7 where it's close wire to wire the whole time.
Yeah.
But they're both trying so many different things.
But like I know that Dragic and Bam were injured, but like we saw in that game, I think it was game 6 of those finals, Jimmy was gone, man. Like, he couldn't do it again. He couldn't do it for another game after he'd just done it, I think, in game 5 and 4. Or 3, whatever it was. And this, I think, was similar. As much as he did do it in game 7 in Miami, he can't do that for 7 games. And so my sort of point is, what am I getting at? So, like, what I predicted before, and what I'm sure many people sort of thought going into the series, as you're saying, very similar teams, great defenses. Boston's been the best defense in the NBA. Even if you want to try and argue that Miami has a great defense, as good as Jimmy is, he's got the offensive weight of the world on his shoulders because Lowry's not himself. Bam gets timid at this point of his career, and Duncan Robinson doesn't get played, and Tyler Hero can't get played. Was injured.
He came back in game 7, and he played a few minutes. He ended up putting... The commentators didn't mention this, but he put his hoodie on underneath the t-shirt, so he knew he wasn't coming back on. He was gone. But also, those minutes he was on, Boston scored every possession, I think. But I think what differs between Boston and Miami in terms of the defense is that Boston's best defense is with their best offensive players on the court. Yeah. Whereas
just great players.
Teams that are defensive centric normally have guys they plug in for offense.
Yeah.
But in the playoffs, it's so much harder. Like if Robinson was playing or if Hero was playing, Boston scores constantly.
That's why the Heat just aren't that good.
Yeah.
The Heat just aren't this good, this level good. Jimmy Butler will make you look that good because at his best, as we said, he's arguably a top 5 player. But when your like best offense is plugging in Tyler Hero or plugging in Duncan Robinson, and it truly is that. It's like...
Even Max Strus, he played like incredibly well for the most part. He had those 14 missed threes in a row, but excluding that, he was good and better defensively than people recognise. But he held his own against Tatum, but Brown for some reason cooked him.
Yeah.
And then the other way around with Oladipo. I don't know what it is about those two, but...
I did want to say to you as well, when Oladipo went to Miami, I don't know if the start of the season, you were like, he should be out of the league.
Yeah.
And I said, not even off the bench. And you said, not even off the bench. Off the bench.
He was good.
He was good. He's not going to go... This isn't... I know you love the name, Ish Smith. This isn't Ish Smith doing a quad 2 times. This is a really great player. He's not going to go from here to there. He's going to go from here to here. And off the bench... I'm bringing him up now. And off the bench...
Sorry to the Spotify listeners.
like he showed in this series... Even just defensively.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't believe how good his hands were defensively. That was what impressed me most. Offense, he was did a bit, but not a lot. But defensively, he was incredible.
He deserves to be playing in the NBA.
Especially on Jaylen Brown. Just the hands he got in there.
He deserves to be playing in the NBA, either off the bench on a good team, or if he went to a terrible team, he could try and make some money. But mainly off the bench on a good team.
At this point in his career, he may as well.
So there was that, but overall, this is what I thought going in. I really, commend Jimmy and Bam in some of those games for taking it to 7, especially Jimmy, mainly Jimmy, taking it to 7 and then nearly stealing it at the end there. How are you feeling in those last 2 minutes? Game 7.
Shit,
I was like, you know what? I knew it wasn't going to happen.
I got a message from a mate that goes to Miami saying, good game. And I was like, fuck you. And then that's when the run started. But what I was going to say earlier as well, I completely forgot about it. Jimmy played 46 minutes in Game 6 and 48 in Game 7.
Yeah.
I know they needed him to, but they would have been better off resting him for 3 minutes a game, 4 minutes a game. Because he played okay in the last quarter, but I think he only made 1 or 2 baskets, got to the line a bit. But if he was if he had more energy... He doesn't leave that 3 short at the end of the game.
I know
potentially. I just think no player in the NBA now. There's too much data and science behind it that suggests there's a reason why players don't play 44 minutes a game anymore. They play 36 because the fatigue is too much to overcome.
Yeah.
And in a situation like that where it comes down to quite literally the last shot of the game, I don't want my player having played, what is it, 96 out of 90, whatever the maths is. Can't be well working it out. 94 out of 96 minutes. There we go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, so on the shot, I see what you're saying. I'm also just leaning towards it's not his shot. I know this playoffs, he's been shooting the threes and he's looked nice. He's been in a bit of a zone. He's been in this weird zone with the threes where just mechanically he's just sort of shooting them like he's like taking a moment. Every time he's taking a moment, he's like, okay, now I'm going to shoot a three.
That pull-up, though, he hit one of those in the first quarter.
Yeah, he's been hitting them.
When he was running down, I don't mind the shot. People criticise it straight away, and I like the fact that every Heat person, player, coach backed him up.
Yeah.
Feel he can take some education on that. But like at the end of the day, there was 11 seconds left or whatever it was when he got the ball. Shot it with like 8 to go, whatever it was.
Yeah.
My mind.
I think it was 11. Yeah.
My mind was going that quickly. I don't remember.
16 seconds, I think, or something like that. He shot it, then he's got the rebound and foul.
But in that situation, say he puts him up 1. They're in the bonus anyway. Boston's probably a 50-50 chance to then score after that. I think you're better off if he went for the tie, drove it Al Horford, tied the game. To be tie game with 10 seconds to go, Boston ball. You're more likely Boston's going to win, considering they're probably shooting 50% from the field anyway. Yeah. Plus the likelihood of a foul. Yeah, it's so close either way. But to go for the kill right there when he's completely wide open.
I just think that. So you brought it up. So 48 minutes. He's not a 3-point shooter. He's a really great guy going to the ring no matter who's in front of him. He's crafty enough. He doesn't even have to try and get fouled. Or whatever, get fouled, do that. I just felt like, and it's not that I'm huge on how dare he shoot that 3. I just think
they had more time to even consider something else.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a transition break where it was a one-on-one. Players were back, so he could have...
There was just no action. He's just like, I'm just going to shoot this 3. I know the go for the win. Don't want to play any more minutes. Obviously, not that he was saying to himself, Jimmy Butler wouldn't, or like, I'm not going to play overtime. But I just feel like if I'm him, how many times I think of that, in that Game 7 against Toronto, the Jimmy Butler, before the Kawhi shot.
The layup.
The Jimmy Butler layup. Exactly that. Go and do exactly that. That's okay.
I'm so glad it was Al Horford in front of him. Because I think if it was any other player in Boston, he probably drives at them. I think Al was probably the only one who's like, he could actually stop me here.
Yeah.
Because Al's defense has been incredible these playoffs.
He's been amazing. But I just think overall, even that shot is the epitome of the series. The whole offense relied on Jimmy, and at the end of the day, it just doesn't work. You can't... The way that they were going about it, I don't care that Hero was injured and that, and Lowry has been injured this playoffs. You guys have had your injuries as well. The Heat weren't ever going to be a championship caliber team. And if they had won a championship, what would I have said?
Fake championship. Mickey Mouse ring.
Mickey Mouse, Disney. So anyway, let's cut that there at the Heat Celtics series. For me, it's hard to talk about just because...
I just want to ask you one question. Have you considered Jaylen Brown?
What about him?
Have you not seen that meme? Oh, you're useless.
Have I considered
This is like the last 5 years after every game was just... consider Jaylen Brown was just everywhere.
Oh. Maybe, is it just Celtics?
It's like, it's probably Celtics Twitter more than anything. It's just like, consider Jaylen Brown. But even commentators say it now sometimes. It's caught on.
Consider Jaylen Brown. Well, I consider...
He was fucking good this series.
He's very good. Okay, Heat Celtics. So now the Celtics and the Warriors are in the NBA Finals. I can't believe it.
It feels like what should have happened 2018, yeah.
Yeah.
2017 if no injuries. 2018 with no injuries.
They would have absolutely wrecked you in those finals. 2018. Yeah, let's be real.
We matched up better than anyone did those years where they dominated. We were their best matchup in the regular season.
Yeah.
And then come playoffs, come finals, we would have got swept.
They would have swept you. All right, but now we're talking about 2022. I can't believe we're doing this for Celtics Warriors. As a way to start our talk and preview, let's actually pull up this week's segment. So this week's segment is in preparation of the Celtics Warriors finals, and it is Celtics Warriors combined 8-man rotation.
I love an 8-man rotation.
8-man rotation. Do you think that either team will go deeper than an 8-man
The
rotation?
Warriors will. They love a deep
They definitely
using
do.
their bench, and they love matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Boston might.
Yeah. Now, did you want to... It's hard to... One thing I was... And we didn't sort of talk about this off the show. With the bench players, once we get to the bench, did you want to make it bench players only? Or did you want to make it like we just keep going to the best players?
8 best players.
Yeah.
If I'm choosing between these two, here's the 8 players I'm putting on the court because I trust them.
Okay. Right. But you know... sorry, I don't know if I mentioned to you. We have to agree on it.
Okay.
We have to agree on it.
Well, in mine...
Wait, hold on.
No, before I start, I've got 2 8-man rotations, and there's only one difference between them.
Okay, right.
So I reckon I've got 9 players that I would play in the 8.
Okay.
I reckon you'll probably have them as well.
Okay, surely. Well, can we agree? And let's also... we'll see. Can we agree at point guard...
Marcus Smart.
Stephen Curry.
Peyton Pritchard. Yeah,
Stephen Curry.
Steph Curry.
Okay, so Stephen Curry is the point guard.
Yeah.
At shooting guard.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
I thought you were going to say Klay Thompson then. Fuck me.
I wanted to give you that moment.
Small forward.
Jaylen Brown.
All-star starter. Andrew Wiggins.
Small forward, Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum.
Well, this is moving. I thought it would. Power forward. Oh, here we are. Actually, I didn't think of this. Power forward, I've got Draymond Green.
Draymond Green.
Yeah, you got to. Center, I actually don't have a final sort of conclusion yet. I've put 3 names.
Take Looney off.
Can you see my phone?
Al Horford is starting center in this lineup.
Are you saying that because of injury? Because I'm happy if you are.
No, I think
Because Williams isn't right at the moment.
he's not. But
not right.
I think in terms of this lineup, you can't go wrong with either. Williams is my backup center. I'm just putting Horford in the starting lineup right now. I think his passing ability, especially with Draymond doesn't have much offensive ability except he can pass, but he's a defensive specialist as we know, and I just think Horford will complement Curry so fucking well.
Yep. I will give you that. We'll do it. So that's our combined starting 5.
Yeah.
So point guard Stephen Curry, shooting guard Jaylen Brown, small forward Jason Tatum, power forward Draymond Green, and at center Al Horford, who goes to the finals for the first time in his 15-year career. So the 3
players left.
subs. 3 subs. You just sort of hinted at one.
Didn't hint.
I've got
I said
like
it very
5
explicitly.
I've got 5 names here.
Take Wiggins off. Take Looney off.
So the 5 names that I've got are Marcus Smart, Robert Williams III, Klay Thompson, and Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins. That's 5, yeah.
I have 4 of those. I don't have Wiggins.
Okay.
I think in this rotation, there's more talent at guard than at small forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if you chose either Smart, Klay, or Poole, you're better off playing 2 point guards, and pushing Brown to the 3. If this was like a series against another team, you'd play small and play Jaylen as a small forward rather than a shooting guard, rather than having Wiggins in the side, in my mind.
Yep. So you want Williams as a must.
Yeah. You need a third big man. He's the best of the
Williams as a must.
remaining.
And so who would you have for your other 2?
So I had a point guard had Curry and Smart.
Okay.
So Smart's a backup. Williams is backup center.
Mm-hmm.
And the other reason I wanted Horford in there starting as well is that he can move to the 4. Williams can play the 5. or, Williams out, Draymond's at the 4, Horford at the 5. So then the other two people I've got, which is fighting for the same position, I think this is just matchup dependent, is Clay and Poole. And I don't know who I would take, honestly.
After what we've seen this playoffs, I would almost, sounds crazy, I would almost put them all in the same tier with Wiggins.
Wiggins has been very good,
Because
but I think that's because of matchups. They're like, we're happy to try and let Andrew Wiggins beat us.
Yeah. Yeah, because he has been good.
But God, he gets open looks. Like, he's not scoring it by himself.
However, I think you just have to pick Clay.
The reason I think Poole's been better these playoffs, and their stats are essentially similar, but Poole is running the offense, whereas Clay is doing what he normally does, which is catch and shoot. And I think when it comes down to it, the way Clay is post-injury, if you needed someone to play catch and shoot, I think you're better off having Jaylen Brown than Klay Thompson right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not taking Wiggins, I think you'd prefer Clay's size defensively.
Even though he's not doing much defensively.
No, but I think he can hold his own at the 3 more than Jordan Poole could.
Yeah.
And I know they're not playing the 3, but if you're going to go small, which I think both these teams sort of make you want to go small, I would take Clay.
I think we need to take Clay. My reasoning was just because whether it be Poole or Wiggins for different reasons, if I had to choose between, if I'm like sort of Steve Kerr and I'm looking at the bench and it's just I have to pick one of those guys to sort of throw on NBA Finals, and this is just such a informal reasoning, but I would be like,
Clay's proven.
I've seen Klay Thompson's face and in 4 NBA Finals previously. One of them he was down, but I just need Klay Thompson. So that's that, isn't it? Smart, because I'm happy with Smart.
Curry and Smart.
Yep.
Brown and Clay.
Mm-hmm.
Tatum, Draymond, Horford / Williams. Third.
All right, and I'll spring this one on you. The coach, Steve Kerr or Ime Udoka?
Steve Kerr.
It is.
It has to be.
You better be. And you know what? Steve Kerr this season has been pissing off Warrior fans, and even myself. I really did love. I really do love Steph's play the full first and third quarter, and then come in halfway through the second and fourth. He's been playing around with it this year, and there's a lot of times where Steph is hot and they need him hot. This is just throughout the season, and then
There's not much adjustment.
Steve Kerr, won't.
But I think as well, look, this Warriors team is nowhere near as talented as the ones we've seen go to the finals before.
Of course.
And I think to an extent, defensively, this is the least talented Warriors defense we've seen, but the numbers are still great because they've all bought into his system that he's put in place.
Yeah.
So offensively, it wouldn't be surprising if come finals time he has been doing it through the playoffs. Like, just do what you know best. Minutes don't matter.
Yeah.
But during the season, he's tried so many different lineups. He even tried it during the Western Conference Finals. He had that lineup of Damian Lee, and fucking who else was there? Mooney as well. Moody, that's the one. For some reason, my mind always goes to Harry Potter, and I always say Mad Eye Moody, but then I think, no, it's Mooney. Don't. Anyway, I think he's just toying around with lineups at the moment, and I think he's had all season to sort of fuck around with them.
Yeah.
And that's why people are pissed off. But
the
pointy end of the season,
yeah,
he knows what to do.
And I'm also like, we'll see about adjustments and stuff like that, but just simply the way that the Warriors, apart from their talent, of course, the way that he has, it's like the Clay thing that I just said, the way that he has instilled this rotating, constantly on the move system on defense and on offense. You just got to give it to him. And Ime Udoka has more to prove. Steve Kerr has to be the coach.
Yeah.
So that is our team for the listeners. At point guard, we have Stephen Curry. At shooting guard, we have Jaylen Brown. At small forward, we have Jason Tatum. Power forward, Draymond Green. Center, Al Horford. And then to the bench, we have Marcus Smart, Klay Thompson, and Robert Williams. And then as coach, we have Steve Kerr. So that's our combined Celtics Warriors. Now let's just spend a bit of time sort of previewing this series.
Oh, God.
So it's an interesting one. I feel like as much as these teams, can feel similar, I also feel like they're gonna want to do their own thing. I don't think either team is gonna really love the idea of playing to stop the other team. Obviously, that's what you do, but they're not gonna love the idea.
They're going to try and play their way.
They're both gonna feel that we can beat this team at our style best, and the other team's gonna feel the same. I'm just trying to think. Where does this series go? Let's start off with, what is it? Is it Celtics or Warriors in what?
Before going back like a round or two, I said from the beginning that Boston is the best or the most well-equipped team to defend Golden State. I think our guard rotation defensively is just one of the best we've seen in terms of, well, not necessarily guard, but our wings and guards. Everyone can switch and stay on Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Now that Smart's obviously hurting, Rob Williams is hurting, so we can't necessarily funnel as well as we would like. The Warriors are going to definitely pick on that. So in my head a few months ago, it was like, I think Boston beats the Warriors. But now, given that Boston's had to grind out 2 series in a row, whereas Golden State sort of just waltzed through. And like I said before, I think Golden State take game 1 just because it's a scheduled loss almost.
Yeah.
I struggle to see how Boston then wins 4 out of 6. That makes it really tough.
Yeah,
So
you really wanted to say that?
I honestly, I don't. Jamie asked me before, she's like, who's going to win? I'm like, I really don't know. Like, you can argue either way.
Yeah.
Draymond Green is going to cause absolute havoc in terms of guarding. We're switching on to Tatum and Brown as well.
I can't wait for that.
I think we saw Jalen struggle with good pesky defenders to get their hands in the way. Golden State doesn't really have that, which helps Boston a lot.
Gary Payton,
if he comes back,
the midden. He might come back for the finals.
Yep.
That's going to be so crucial for them if he comes back.
I think Warriors will go small a lot. I don't think Looney's going to do a lot in his minutes against Boston because I think
which might actually help you guys because Rob Williams might not be needed.
And also when Rob Williams is on the floor, if he's being guarded by Draymond, that forces Draymond to stay near the basket given how much of a lob threat he is.
Yeah.
So, like, you can argue it either way. Then on the other hand, it's like Boston has Smart to try and defend Curry, and they'll try and play him one-on-one. Get the ball out of Curry's hands, and who takes Poole, who takes Clay. If they get hot, there's no stopping.
I think the whole series, the biggest key to the whole series...
Who shoots best from 3.
is that, of course. The Warriors' offense. That's it for me. The Warriors' offense is the key to the series. If they're too good for you guys offensively, like obviously defensively, but this is what we've talked about all this episode. Obviously defensively they can hang, they can be there, but mainly it's just because no matter who's on the court, their sort of schemes of always running around, switching and always doing all these things.
But Boston being able to switch everything though is going to tire the Warriors out because Boston will just set up and they'll run. And it's like instead of having to chase Curry around, it'll be yours, now's mine, watch a baseline sort of thing. Which...
Yeah, I just think if the Warriors can beat that and beat you guys, beat your defense, I don't think that you guys will be able to match them. And even when you go down the other end, I don't think the Warriors, while not having super defensive great players, I don't think their defense is going to sort of open up. Like, they need to be a bad defensive team in response. But if you guys do actually clamp their offense and it's just a game of...
we need to score.
Basically, a bit of a real grind. I think that the grind goes in the Celtics' way.
I think the Celtics have better shot makers, which sounds ridiculous for a team with Steph Curry. But in terms of a slow playoff game where it's just isoing, I like...
They need to keep it moving, Golden State, which is obvious, but it's just the truth.
It's one of those matchups where, like you said, the teams are similar, but they play such different styles where something's got to give.
There might be a game or two that I've got a feeling there might be a game or two, obviously not game 7, that actually just goes crazy a shootout,
130 to 120 sort of thing.
Something like that. Because if Jalen and Jason and Grant Williams, if they're doing it, and then if Curry and that are doing it, It's like, okay, who's going to actually just defend the win?
Yeah.
You know, get the win out of the defense. It's such an interesting matchup because both these teams don't deserve to be there.
I think the other thing I was going to say before you fucking throw shade at me, it's how well Boston passes out of the pick and roll. Because you know Draymond's going to be lurking along the baseline, and if Tatum or Brown has a lane to the basket, he's going to contest it better than anyone in NBA history almost. That's how good he is. So if they can, that's where you got to find Grant Williams, or you got to find Rob Williams through a lob threat, or Al Horford in the corner. If they can do that well, Boston can easily win this series. But if they're putting up contested shots, it's just so close to call.
Yeah,
and I honestly don't know. The Warriors are going in heavy favourites, but
I feel like Boston's going to win, and it's just part of knowing my luck in the universe. But I don't know anymore. I really thought the Mavs were going to win that series, and that was just sort of, oh, wait, hold on. Golden State is pretty damn good. And, yeah. And at the same time, as good as Jimmy was, I thought that you guys would really roll them. So
we didn't play that well.
Well,
our offense fell apart multiple times.
But at the same time, in a 7-game series, like that's true. But in a 7-game series, you know, unfortunately, some truths reveal themselves. Yeah. And that's what I sort of said about Tatum. I'd love to see, look, as much as I hate the Celtics, if Tatum goes for 30 a game in this series, and they win, I'd be like, okay, this is really awesome of Jason Tatum. And I really hope he takes it to that level. But I also hope that Curry does the same. I reckon this is another thing I want to say. I reckon we're going to get a great series because just the way things go, the whole playoffs seem to be a bit of a shitty... Most of the playoffs, especially those conference finals. How's all the blowouts?
Which I love all the conspiracy theories about it.
Oh, forget the
people saying it was because there's no rest when the conference finals has been the exact same for 30 years. So it's just 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
Now that people shoot more threes, there's way more room for variance, and if one team gets hot, that's it. There's no coming back from that, essentially.
Yeah. So with all these shitty games and shitty playoffs, I've got this feeling that at most we're going to get one shit game. At most. Yeah, I think it's going to be really good.
The bit that gives me a little bit of confidence as well, like when was the last time Steph Curry dominated a game?
Yeah.
And I know that's not necessarily the way they're going to win anymore by him scoring 45. But I think for the Warriors to sort of... If someone said to me beforehand that Curry, Thompson, and Poole, or Curry, Wiggins, and Poole, 3 out of those 4 would have, 70 between them, I would be like, oh, that's going to be tough. I think that's what they need to do. They need everyone else to step up.
I would even say they need nearly 80 plus.
Because, Draymond's going to get you only 10. Like, Looney's going to give you a few. And that's kind of it. They really need those guys to score well. And if Boston can at least force one of them to have a 4 for 14 night, the series is there to be taken.
If Steph is off for the series, you'll win in 5. If like he was off when he was approaching, I mean, he's had many times shooters go in slumps, but when he was approaching the record this year, if he plays like that, which I don't think he will, but if he does, you guys will win in 5. And that's what I'm talking about. This, and it coincides with Steph is a very offensive-driven player. Yes, people want to talk about he's improved this year on defense, but offensive-driven player, I think the key to the series is the Warriors' offense. You guys need to stop it. They need to make sure that they beat your defense.
And the other thing in terms of matchup-wise, if you have a Steph and Draymond pick and roll, I think the Celtics will be quite smart about it in terms of probably putting Tatum on Draymond. Means he doesn't have to do much on defense, but also if that pick and roll does come, Tatum's got the length to probably hang with Curry and, just alter his shots. And then on the flip side, if they are defending Draymond with either Rob Williams or Al Horford, if they switch on to Curry, they are more than capable of holding their own in a one-on-one sort of setting. So that is just going to be one of the... There's going to be so many factors to this and how well Boston can get Tatum onto Curry on offense and Brown onto Curry and Brown onto Poole. It's going to be such a chess match. I don't reckon we've had something like this since like the 2016 finals. Like every possession was like, let's find our matchup, let's attack them.
Yeah.
Since then, sort of fallen away, but I reckon this will be a series where it's who's the weakest link on defense. Let's go at them.
Yeah, it's got to do with stars, even though there was stars. But anyway, and there is Steph Curry. But I can't believe, I don't know if we've already said it, but, you know, at the start of the season, we did a thing, who can win the championship? And me and you were both like, Boston cannot.
Here we are.
Oh my gosh. Man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself if you guys win.
What's your prediction? Got to put something official out there.
Yeah. My prediction is, so it's Warriors home series. My prediction is Boston. It's tough. I think Boston in 6.
I'm saying the same thing because I don't see them losing at home this time for some reason. I've just got that feeling. I reckon we'll snatch it from one of the first two and then sort of do what we have to do at home. But if someone said Golden State in 4, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. If someone said Boston in 7, like, there's no wrong.
I don't think Boston can go 7 again. No. If this is just talking about tiredness. If they go to 7 again, I just feel
especially
like
in San Fran,
that you'll see it in San Francisco. You'll see Tatum and that
struggle
shooting short shots and stuff like that. I don't think you can go to 7. Yeah. And you know, I'm only ever right. I'm never right. I'm only ever right when I want to be wrong.
He's trying to jinx me.
Anyway, that's it. So his team's in the finals. My team never gets to the finals. Your team always gets.
Can't even make the conference finals.
Can't even make the conference finals. We haven't made the conference finals in 21 years. It's
a long time.
That's fucked. Nah.
You don't have to be that good to make conference finals either.
No, you don't have to be that good. Yeah.
Like, we've had some pretty shit teams make conference finals since 2001.
Well, they look pretty bad compared to LeBron, is what you're saying. And they look bad compared to the Warriors.
But, like, who made, like, the Jazz made the conference finals last year?
The Hawks as well.
Like, there are some anomalies that...
Because of injuries.
Even, like, there were some shit Celtics teams that made 2015, we made it, was just...
Yeah.
2014. 16 we made it. 2012 Boston made it where they shouldn't have. Because that was...
no, you didn't play. Sorry. You played us in the second round in 2012.
Like, there's been some terrible Boston teams. There have been some terrible teams in general. The Toronto teams that got there.
Unbelievable. I can't believe the Celtics are in the fucking finals. I can't believe the Celtics are in the finals. You said Boston in 6 as well?
I've gone Boston in 6.
So next time when we see each other, so the first game is Thursday their time, Friday our time. So next time we see each other, because we record on Tuesdays, Australia time, do you know whether... Definitely, obviously, game 1. I think game 2 would have been done.
Let's have a look.
So the first game is on Friday.
Monday. So we're 2 games in.
Friday and then Monday. Yeah.
And the fact that as well, there's so much time between these games suits Boston more than anything. So it's going to be a fun series. I'm fucking shitting myself.
Strength in numbers. Gold-blooded.
They're both shit.
Let's go Warriors.
Oh, God.
All right, well, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Strength in Numbers show. Bay Area colloquialisms. Is that the colloquialisms?
Yeah, pronunciation's a bit off, but yeah.
Bay Area
colloquialisms.
Gold-blooded Steph Curry, Finals MVP.
Imagine if someone else wins Finals MVP over Curry. Jordan Poole goes off.
You know who's coming back? Who I think is going to be ready for the finals?
Young Glove?
No, Andre. He's coming back for it. And he's going to lock down Jason Tatum.
For 35, 5 and 5 and get Finals MVP for that. That is the biggest joke of all time.
It's a funny one though, and he played for Philly, so I'll always love it. Anyway, thank you for joining us for this episode of the. I want to keep going with it, the Warriors stuff, of the Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Splash Brothers. What is the trio? What do they start calling the trio with Jordan Poole? There's the pool party, but there was a new.
There was another one.
Something trio. Anyway, Bronxshire Basketball Show. That's what we are. We're the Bronxshire Basketball Show. Thank you for joining us. The NBA Finals are coming up Thursday or Friday, wherever you are in the world. Tune into them. See JL's Boston Celtics lose game 1 and 2.
Bit harsh.
JL, I'll speak to you next week.